You know, I was looking up online, um, where do I donate to Putin? Where do I donate to Russia? Because this is probably about the closest I've ever seen in this world to Americans being liberated from what? Who are these people who put the pyramids on the dollar bill? Wouldn't that be like the pharaohs? So Americans might be closer to being liberated from the pharaohs more than anything. That's the best thing I can like try to figure out here is happening. And so I look it up, and can you tell what happens? Can you take a guess what happens? Okay, so if you've been watching the internet for a long time, you've been watching it get locked down. And if you've studied the internet, you know it comes from the military, and the military issued it as a weapon of war, pretty much saying, "Hey, check this out. This is fun. Get on it." And it's literally like a underground bomb shelter with no communication to the outside world. And that has increased significantly. At first, it didn't really look like that, but now it does. So when I search for this, the entire feed is donate to Ukraine. I didn't put the word Russia in some of those searches, yet alone the word Ukraine. I said, where can I donate money to Putin? Why would I trust the rest of Russia? When I go to the American media outlets, I'm allowed to see that claim to be Russian outlets, but clearly aren't because they're advertising scumbags in America. And I really just, I don't think a nation that's actually being invaded or a nation that was being invaded and has the fucking power to actually fight back, and stop it and reverse the invasion anywhere along that spectrum. I get the idea not a single person there is going to promote media telling us how great these people in this nation are. Especially when they're going along with the same freaking line. Like, okay, so anyone who is the enemy of anything going on in the world probably has seen that they're lying about everything. So why would you repeat a single thing they're saying if you're at that point where you're sending people with fighter jets to drop bombs on them because you're tired of hearing their garbage? Why would you repeat it? Anyway, so I've noticed that I've never really seen a media outlet that didn't like USA, even though they're talking about stopping their invasion and stuff like that. And then the next story is like Kim Kardashian got married to a bear today. And it's like, really? Like, who owns this place? That's weird because whoever owns this place knows how to type really good English because, you know, really good English is a really hard to find skill. At least it was before 2000. And it's not as bad as math. It's about 10% of people got pretty good English scores. And when you deal with the scumbags online and their fake accounts, you used to be able to pretty much tell when you're dealing with someone. When you're at a political site and you say Israel is garbage, and someone comes in and their words ain't very put together in English, you can pretty much tell that's IDF. And then when you get like a scammer from like, you know, Africa or something, they speak differently. And you know, like it makes even less sense than an Israeli trying to speak English. They speak and read backwards, so the words are only out of place. They understand how to use words very well, and then you can almost tell which part of the world people are coming from by which language, which version of English they're using. Just like you can tell I'm not an English person or haven't been for 100+ years, at least that I know of. And so I don't go around speaking like I'm Australian, mate, and I don't go around speaking like I'm Swedish or German. Not all the time, not a lot, hardly ever. Generally, it's just Rammstein songs, but sometimes a little more. Anyways, and so looking at that, you're like, and think about it now. If you didn't think about it before, think about that. How do all these websites telling us about Evil USA and Their Nation Being Bombed. How are they presenting such excellent English? And why are they advertising all those people? I think it's the same thing I'm seeing here. When I put in the words, donate money to Putin, everything is donate money to Ukraine. Like, and it's like, why don't I just take money out of my pocket and go give it to the cops? Why don't I just take my money out of the pocket and go to that fantasy island place and give them my money? I could send Donald Trump or Joe Biden some money if I wanted to donate to Ukraine. Why would I waste $40 on an international mail package to send a couple bucks out? Where am I going to get that 40 anyways? I was only going to... No, if it was Putin, I would have sent him more than $2 probably. But, so, like, where do you donate to Putin? Like, huh? I think, I don't know what's going on, but I know they seem crazy about it, and it doesn't even mean they're not involved in it. But, yeah, they're always... Americans always crying, and you gotta put in some work and not just manifest everything and stuff. And it's like, okay, all right, here we go. Here's the work. I'm mailing the package out today and stuff, right? Making sure it gets to the right person too. I don't want to send it to Russia because that's weird. These English websites speak English so good and love Elvis Presley and Elon Musk so much. Like you do realize they're working together like they always have, and if they're seriously at war with you, they're going to continue it more. The right wing looks scary, but generally what happens is they play reverse roles, and then their people don't complain. Like the Republicans were pointing out that Obama actually tightened borders, but during the whole administration, online, everyone's like, oh, bummer, he's going to open the gates and let his friends come wreck the nation and stuff. But it's like, in all reality, I think those people in the government, I think they realize that they would lose their mansions and their roads if they displace their population a little too much. I personally don't care, but I kind of think people who care about having their mansions and their big government buildings and all that, I kind of get the idea in order to get to that point in life, there's a high chance you have to care enough to want that type of life, really. And some people might argue that the scum rises to the top and that, money's evil, things like that. But anyways, okay, so I would, personally, if I was Putin, if I was the leader of any nation, I would just tell people how it is. I could pull up tons of information and be like, this is how the world's been run, and this is everything that's been going on. And so it makes no frickin' sense. And I'm thinking that, obviously the Google search is seeing I'm saying I want to donate money to Putin, and it's like, no, we're not with them. We're trying to invade Russia, not, the Googles. Imagine that. The people who look like the Pharisees, the people who put the pyramid on the dollar bill, the people who worship their Middle Eastern religions. Every single freaking one of them apparently looks like one of them, including Satanism and atheism. So, oh, isn't that weird, too, that they're always arguing that science came from the Arabs. The Arabs brought us science, too. Huh, it's weird that Einstein just happens to look very similar to them, like everyone else. But anyways, so Google there, the Pharisees, the pharaohs, whatever their ranking would be, considering those are the real rulers. Would those be the gods? I've been trying to figure out, did Ra, destroy the pharaohs? Did the actual gods of that time, destroy the pharaohs and stuff? Because you had that one book saying that God saved them from the pharaohs. And it's like, so whose side was wrong? Ra killed them and stuff? Got rid of the pharaohs? anyways, so I kind of, they supposedly have to do all this work. I don't know what people really do. It's weird. I've seen people go to work, but I've also seen like people appear, and so I default to the, oh, you're a magical shape shifting, appearing wherever you want, doing whatever you want person, huh? Because it's the safest assumption, especially when you see people you thought you knew whole life changing. So, who were the people the only people you watch go to work, and most people you never actually found at work, and everyone didn't really work very much. We're not gonna get into discussions about that. We're not ever really trying to put names, and lots of people probably think I'm putting names out when I say things, and I'm generally not, unless you really like just made me want to kill myself or something like that. But anyways, so all these people are like controlling this narrative, and then so why do they want to send money? And they have banned RT in other places, but it's like RT is like worshiping America stuff. And I went to a site that obviously some Russians sent me to, and it was like standard news. They weren't, and I really can't find that again because that person gave that to me directly, and it seemed like the news here is garbage. That it seemed more like news, just news bulletins than anything. There's no Kim Kardashian's photos with Bigfoot today or anything like that, or Russian stars photos with Bigfoot. So they haven't banned that, but they have banned me. So I'm getting the idea I'm not connected to whatever internet Russia is. Now they tell us that China does that they have their own internet, and of course they're always trying to infiltrate China. I don't know what the hell is wrong with them. You thought they would have done that during the Opium Wars because they won the Opium Wars. They had them drugged and conquered, and supposedly they turned around and left. I don't know if like white people just had so much respect for them in their culture that they're like, we're not gonna kill them like we do the other people. They're gonna just force them to work, which is weird because what does Taiwan and Japan and Vietnam do? They work, right? That's why Taiwan's so important, because they have the factories. And in fact, so does China. And then what does that do for America? It makes it so there's no smog killing all the people here. Like there used to be people dying in the coal mines from just breathing in the air from mining the mines, and stuff today is so much worse than that. My friend says she got her cancer from living close to the DuPont factory. I guess that was like a big thing, and she technically didn't live like close, but it was close enough for the people to start getting cancer. So, I kind of wonder if they're even smart enough to get to that, or if I'm dumb for coming to that so late, and they figured that out a few 100,000 years ago or something. But we can see Taiwan is doing that, right? So those places out there are kind of like already conquered and colonized, right? And they don't say anything about us. And if I went to like a Taiwanese site and it spoke like perfect English, I would assume this is us. I couldn't get to their sites because even if I could, they would speak a different language I wouldn't understand, and I'd probably get a bad translation, and I wouldn't be able to read through it properly, because you got to read what's being said, like with that drone thing recently. You have to understand English, American English, and they use the words telling you they know what the drones are. Don't worry, it's safe. Don't worry, it's the government. That doesn't really mean it's safe, but to them, don't worry, it's safe also means don't worry, it's the government. It might not mean the same words as don't worry, it's safe, but they use that in place of the words don't worry, it's safe. So they did word that, if you listen to that wording. And if that was translated from a Russian person who doesn't speak English, I wouldn't be able to read through that because they wouldn't know the proper words there to do that. And often in translation, if you auto translate, it's gonna like skew things up and pull a wrong term. Lots of words mean lots of things, and when we're using words to manipulate people, that's a key component there is using different words that mean different things in different places that change the meaning of those words or the meaning of that statement. So you you get on this Western internet, and I've never seen anything I thought was actually foreign. I've seen a couple sites that look kind of like they're Chinese people selling goods, like literally they look like Chinese people sometimes. Some might see ads like that on TikTok. I guess they have that nowadays. I don't use it anymore. But yeah, so other than that, I don't know how many people I've met with over there or dealt with. Um, and I've looked for these things because I want to know, what their people are saying. I'm not going to trust anyone they put on the media here from China. No one on the media. Dude, if you're a Chinese person and you're like really on China's side, and they take you on this media, like you could just shut down every conversation, just like some of these other people in the Middle East, a Palestinian or something like that, or some of these other nations under fire and stuff. Maybe if you're a Ukrainian, you could accidentally be like, I'm scared of all three of these nations. I think they're trying to kill us because that's what it actually looks like. Because to me, that's what it looks like. It looks like and it looks like they got a pattern of cleansing nations by acting like they're at war with each other. Um, but you have, it doesn't look right when they have a Chinese person on TV. I want to go to China and hear what they say. And I've never really been able to do that. That like if I go on YouTube, there's Weon. I was told I shouldn't say the names, but it's like everything on YouTube looks like a white man's hit piece on China. Even when it's got Chinese people and it says Chinese news for Americans, it's like I understand China like seems to play this game of just being polite and cordial. Um, but the other nations don't play that same game. So when I look for their stuff, I mean, China plays it like to a T, and it's kind of only more recently they've been like, wow, like look at what you guys do, like, and this is exactly what you would say if you went on TV with these people. They start in with anything about you, be like, me, look at what you've been doing for a long time, and it's real simple. It just comes out, and the and we're having technical difficulties. We're cutting the break. We'll be back in 30 minutes once we move this person from our TV studio. No putting on a non-mask and then being like, oh, we can't see him. Where'd he go? And then taking over the airwaves and telling him a whole bunch of stuff they don't want you to hear. I'm sure that doesn't happen. That already happens. They have walls built around these TV studios like prisons. There's several in my city. I live in a big city. And I've always paid attention to the news people, even though I don't watch it. I don't know why, but it's pretty noticeable because nothing in the city has walls built around it. Like it's a police fortress. Literally, I think those are the two things in this city that have walls built around them. The government buildings don't have walls built around them. Like fortress walls on the outside of the building, not at all. They've got some cute little fancy thing at the state house, but not at the courthouse, not at any of the other places. They don't even have a wall around the governor's mansion, but that is like 2 hours out of town, so you're not getting out there. So it's all like it's all being like controlled and stuff. We're in like an isolated net here. I mean, this stuff popping up right here. I see they're removing my comments all the time, and I've like cut back what I say like so much. I know I said I never would, but after 10 years, it's like, oh, I'm watching my accounts now, and I've always been watching my accounts, and usually I just like, switch off, but um, and don't mess with certain ones. But I noticed like it's a little more locked down now. They have more things you can't say. Like they have Elon Musk baiting people into saying stuff so they can ban them. And if you don't look like Elon Musk will ban you. Or if you look like Elon Musk and they don't like what you're saying about Elon, people who look like Elon Musk, they don't like that either, apparently. It's about the same thing. Or if you say, hey, people who look like Elon Musk are following me around trying to kill me, I need some help here. Of course, why would Elon Musk want people to know people who look like him are trying to kill you? If they're actually trying to do that, you'd think that's the most harmless thing in the world. In fact, it's the opposite. People have asked me, why don't you contact the police? It's like, who do you think? When I was out there at Black Diamond Mountain, and I posted that video saying, check it out, they cut my tires. Who is the suspect? The cops who were right there driving by all slow. The people who had just kicked me out of the building. I was only in there like 15 minutes. I went in there, bought food, washed my face, and left. I wasn't in there that long. It was a grocery outlet. There's not much in there. I just go in there and I look up and down 2 of the aisles, get me a carton of milk and leave, generally. Maybe a couple other things. Small store. Smaller, it's like a small Dollar Tree, but for groceries. So, you guys on the West Coast know, so the time I went in there and come out, the cops are rolling by all slow. They're of course not stopping, and my tire was flying real fast. It wasn't a slow leak because it was already down, and yeah. During that time, someone even came to talk to me too, like one of the bug-eyed blonde crackheads. Yeah, yeah. So I posted that video, and I don't know what happened. If I slept in my car that night, or I don't know where else I would have slept. But I had to do that, right? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I think I used my spare tire, but I couldn't do that too long because it's like this tiny tire in this big vehicle that's loaded up. So, yep. So that happened, and I guess I'm not supposed to tell anyone about that. Like I said, there's always a human around telling me like, don't talk about what happened. You're making it happen. It's like, oh yeah, I remember when I was a kid and I made everything in my life happen. Are you sure you're not saying don't talk about that because you don't want people to know someone's been doing it to me? Because really, like, I know I like to word things differently, but sometimes I'm crying for help, or at least putting it out there. I kind of just figure I'm going to be dead one day a long time ago, and I'm not dead yet, so it kind of has more shifted towards, hey, help, something's happening here, because I'm not dead. Like, I just figured it'd be over before it could get out of hand and stuff. I didn't think that far in advance. I did, and I figured it was over. I figured like that stuff in 2020 was. I knew before 2020, and when that hit, I was like, oh, this is going to escalate to the end of the world real fast, isn't it? And I didn't, but I was already involved in my stuff, and like, yeah, I mean, they're cutting my brake lines in front of me. Yeah. This is like the second transmission. They're following me around acting like they're my friends and stuff while putting powders in my drink and owning the place we're at and kicking me out after they attempt to kill me and stuff. Or did they mind control me that night? I remember that night well. I haven't blacked out except for the last year of my life. So I'm sure I didn't black out that night. And they actually kicked me out because I was too loud. I mean, I was probably playing guitar, but everyone was. That's why they had guitars there. Maybe they didn't like my guitar because it wasn't no good old hillbilly music up on by Seattle. What the hell shit is that? Maybe it was a little too heavy for them, but you wouldn't think. That makes no sense, dude. We're up by Seattle and stuff. And the only metal places I've ever seen in America even seem to be around there. Or so I thought. It was dead. I couldn't really confirm what's happening, but yeah, that's what I hear. Grunge is from Seattle, and Hollywood's from California, and thrash is from the Bay Area, and death metal's from Florida. And there you go. You got the Bay Area and Seattle over there. You got 2/3 of the world's rock and roll. That ain't everything else is from Europe. So, anyways, yeah. So that's like censored to the point where like they removed a comment that just said, "Hey, like I'm worried about these people who look like Elon Musk and pals, like following me around and stuff, and trying to kill me and stuff." And you get banned for that. You get banned for like reporting crimes, yeah, assassins and stuff, because who owns this stuff? Obviously, Elon Musk owns Elon Musk's media. So, and who owned it before? Well, I mean, I would say about the same thing. I was a lot more vicious in my attacks towards anyone involved in the system back then. And these days I'm more balanced out and just vicious all over, and not as high point vicious here, not as low non vicious over here. But I generally like have been editing my stuff so I don't say anything too far out of hand. I'm still saying some of the stuff I used to say that, like, never was an issue and stuff too. I get the idea they might have used BLM to enforce their own protection rather than care about black people, considering most of those people at the top weren't 100% West African blood, and people acted upset when I was at places trying to asking around, seeing about getting some of the actual black people to stand up and lead. Sometimes people seemed upset with that. Maybe all the time. I don't know. Yeah, they definitely don't like you coming out and be like, "Can you like stop being a cracker and let someone else speak for a minute?" You definitely got to like work around that, and you'll still see it. Like, I obviously did the working first, but you kind of get tired of waiting and knowing and that it's going nowhere, and it's like your 10th time, and it's like, oh, I know it's a new city, but I just don't have time for that. Get the hell off the stage, let someone else on. But you can't really say that in a city that only has like two black people either. But when they're at that place with you, why not? So, anyways, yeah. I mean, look at that. Like, that didn't feel. That didn't like all this stuff in the media. Just I just figure it's all fake. I turn on the internet. I turn on the TV. I don't even have a TV. I chop that thing up again. I got that thing you see, but that's technically a computer. So, I mean, I like put on stuff if I'm doing dishes on Prime. That's about it. But the internet now, like the internet, Mark Zuckerberg's selling me weed, or not even weed, selling me that fake CBD, and then selling me a drug rehab program. And he's selling me drug rehab, and I'm like banning all the drug ads. Like, I don't want this garbage. I'm banning under everything. Oh, this is terrorism. This is hate speech. This is dangerous. Like, it is. It's garbage. And so it's like, that's controlled, obviously. I'm sitting there banning these things repeatedly. I spent hours on the internet banning stuff. You used to have access to software that could do that. I've got my hands on one software right now that allows me to mostly ban things on YouTube. All those sites you get that are fake people, no face on it, and they just let them run rampant with millions of views per video that I assume are actually Eric, Sergey and Brin and Elon Musk themselves, because they're the ones who own the media, the NBC, ABC. That's not anonymous hacking them to sell you scams on the news and stuff. That's Zuckerberg's family doing the actual freaking scam and stuff. And so obviously they're doing that, not allowing you to block things. And you used to have a little feature where you could block things from Google search. Man, when I started doing that, like, it's weird because the internet was starting to become empty. It was so weird because I'm like, damn, how many people actually exist on Earth? There can't be much content. How do I ban 200 channels and YouTube is now feeding me like the same 6 channels over and over and nothing else? And this is like this big thing that people are starting to talk about and stuff. And then they remove features like that. Those were external software that the people add to your browser, your extension. And you used to be able to ban channels from showing. And Facebook used to work in a similar manner. And supposedly some people say the ads used to work that way too, but I just used ad blockers in the past, and so I never seen ads in the past. I'm just being lazy because, well, I mean, really rebuilding my whole stuff is not lazy. It's a hell of a lot of work to rebuild everything I had. And once you build something 10 years ago, once I JTAG an Xbox 360 one time and move on, I don't remember all the software programming and soldering and stuff I had to do to make that happen. Did it one time, moved on to a new project. And so it's not, I'm being lazy. I'm sure it's out there. And yeah, some of this, like, some of it's hard, like some working around is hard, but it wasn't hard before. There used to be browser extension that would highlight names too. So if there was a name that just happened to be like, let's say FU Rothschild, okay? AP and routers is Rothschild Media, probably like everything else. And if you didn't want to see that, there was a browser extension that would highlight the word Rothschild. It would, by default, Rothschild was the name. It was censoring. It would show, and then that combined with the ban button, ban this website from ever appearing in my searches again. You could click on never show this again. It's pretty easy. You went to the sites that didn't have the same person who owns all the other media, and you might be finding something truthful on there. And they've removed that. They removed that browser extension too. I think it's still in my it's still in my history, I think, of browsers I used to use, but it like stopped working like 10 years ago. So it's still there on the thing. I mean, if no one remembers that, but it's like, why wouldn't you have that? Why wouldn't you have that option? Like, I just go through all these people. In the past, I would have went through anyone asking for donations to war and blocked them. They used to take money from children at school to put towards wars. And I thought that was the most vile, disgusting thing I've ever seen. I mean, it's just straight sick. I'm pretty sure they were showing videos of the wars on TV too, to little children in elementary school. Good thing I already was born in America, because probably, if you haven't seen that before, apparently some people be like, oh shit, dead body, and they break down and cry and all that. But I'm an American, son. I've already seen all that stuff. You can't phase me. I've seen people cut open and operated on. I've probably watched myself get cut open and operated on. I've definitely felt it while it's happening up in these areas and stuff. Generally, you go to sleep these days, so. But yeah, so we used to be able to block all that stuff, and we can't now, and it's because they're purposely removing it. And there is a new thing there. I did find a new one that works kind of good, but rumor was they purposely disabled all the other ones, and no one ever decided to work on this project again because there's so many people out there demanding that. I mean, if I had a kid, I wouldn't let it on the computer if I was a normal person. I would have different standards for my kid than society does. But I mean, to me, they're already going outside to kindergarten, so their head's already messed up. They're going outside in America. They've already learned about drugs, and by the time they get to kindergarten, someone's probably already approached them. But everyone else is like, oh, we got to make sure we don't let them see any of that stuff best we can until they're 20. And why are they allowed to advertise that stuff to me? I changed my age too, and it's still like selling me beer and stuff instead of prescription drugs and cannabis. It switched over to selling me beer for a few days. I don't even think I changed my age back, and it went back to all the other drugs and stuff. Of course, I had to do over 18 because it would block me from certain things at certain sites if I chose over 18. So, but I'm still, I still browse without credentials and get a lot of the same stuff too. I know I get a lot of the same trash, useless, ignorant videos if I browse without credentials. And generally in places I don't know. Why would any place be selling me like pro-Ukraine ads and pro-war ads? I noticed they were doing that the last year. They were showing American workers in bomb factories and saying, get paid better wages now, come work for us. Help Ukraine at the same time. They weren't even like, I mean, it was literally a commercial for bomb factories or an ad alongside a couple others. I saved it. I'm surprised they did. I've never quite seen that. I think the closest thing I've seen is be all you can be in the military. Never seen like, fund the war against Iran or Palestine or Africa or Mexico or Khazaria. Before I think they probably recently took over Ukraine, right? If Russia's actually like gonna move in and stuff on them, they must have been taking land. But yeah, that's all censored, man. Clearly, I just typed that in, and everything here is donate to Putin. Gift for Putin. Fundraiser to weapons of Ukraine. Institute of Modern Russia. Hey, look, this one's actually showing up. That's weird. That means it's on this device. It's targeting me with pro-Ukraine stuff even more than it is on a device with no credentials, which I was kind of thinking that looked like it's happening. Like Megan, like, donate to Israel ads when I'm watching, like, pro non racial supremacist videos that would obviously not be pro Israel or anything linked to those groups. And Free Russia Foundation, we can only assume. On this device, I assure you, on this device where I'm logged in, it's showing me nothing but that. But pretty much, yeah, the OCCRP, that's talking about donations to his actual election, and yeah, I think it's trying to like defame him through some crime thing. I know that's one of the things, and I think that's what this is. One of them like led me to some articles where USA, or so whatever. Yeah. Actually, they were investigated. The investigative journalists were investigated, and it turns out to be they're like right beside Russia, but they came from America, as if that's not obvious right there, but then we're being funded by it. So yeah, that's pretty much what I was getting in the search, is donates to that, and then like stuff like and it's all disguised as like spread freedom to Russia, but I looked in donate to Putin. I didn't look up donate against Putin. So pretty much everything that comes up there is against Putin. But that's not what I put in. Now, generally in the past, I could like look up something different. I don't know if that's changed. Like if I look up now like Free Palestine, I wonder what that brings up. I wouldn't want to say Free Palestine. I'd like to say Free the Middle East. But that's not going to come up with anything. That's weird that that ends in the word Stein. That always makes me feel weird there when I see that. But yeah, hey, look. See, that actually brings that up. Now, if I look up Free Russia, or free, if I look up like America's greatest, Americans the greatest, help spread freedom, I'll probably find something related to that. So the two opposing things, I can easily pull some sort of gibberish or something on. But when I want to donate to Russia, it's just simply not there, as if it's not there when I want to donate to Putin. Again, I don't know about donating to Russia because I don't know who's running these websites. I figured you would just find like the address. You write the president a letter or something. Couldn't even find that. Like, what? Can I look up the president's address? How? There we go. Hey, I looked in this time how to write Putin. I think maybe before send a message to Putin, or however I might have worded it, might not work. But this one, and it could be also because I'm not logged in with credentials right here. And that's why I'm not logged in with credentials on this right here, because not logging in, I just had to clear my history like a couple hours ago, because it was starting to tailor it to non-credentials that I had just cleaned out the day before. So that's how quickly it started forming a net around what I'm searching for, and a net of ignorance too. Oh my God, I've already got like 20 new channels I didn't ban, 40 in just like a matter of time. All the same stuff too. On most of my non-credential stuff, it feeds me the same pretty much whatever everyone else is talking about is going to show up, like it's a TV show or something. And then I got to like weed out Hollywood things from the subsect. But yeah, so right here I'm actually getting a little bit different search because I don't have credentials, but I know on mine I get tons of targeted ads. And I've read this before. This is what they do. They, you know, if you're a Christian, what they do is they go to heavy metal videos and they put ads on heavy metal videos because they're trying to recruit. They don't have to recruit themselves. So they don't have to pay for ads on their own videos. People are already there. And so when I'm looking at something that says Free Palestine, apparently they just have the other people do that. But, this seems to be more tailored to me logged in with my credentials. It's kind of weird because that almost implies that whoever's controlling the ads has some sort of access to my credentials. I'm not sure. I guess they do ask for pretty much everything, right? I have people calling me, texting me when I get packages. And they're like texting me saying your package can be delivered. And then like they text me the day it's coming. And that's usually the reason I get up and go find a package at my door. It's pretty cool though, because I just let the package sit out there for weeks and sometimes, and might not be there a few weeks later, but they do that. And somehow it's like knowing that my day is here and the package is there, fill out this form and change your address and resend it. Another thing is too, it's a day late. Like I would have to fill out that form and resend the package before the day of delivery in order for it to take place. I shouldn't tell anyone that, right? But maybe it's just there to, it's so weird because it like helps me and stuff. But anyways, stuff being banned here. Yeah, that's not helping me. I mean, they're destabilizing Syria and stuff too. Again, I was going through some of my old stuff, and apparently, like, I mean, none of this is new, but I pulled up an article from like 10, 14 years ago that said, they're destabilizing Syria, and this was like one thing I don't even remember seeing. So, I mean, it's happened more than the fact that I know it's a fact that they've been doing it all along. And I looked that up, and I'll get targeted with other stuff. And it seems to be my searches will be altered differently too, according to the credentials and stuff. Like clearly, I doubt everyone else is getting I'm getting targeted with a whole bunch of drug ads on Facebook. Does everyone do that? And then like their cult shit too. Like all forms of their cults, their hospitals, their therapists, their religions. They're anti-religions. Yeah, like it seems pretty specific. I'm not sure if everyone around a certain age gets that. Like I said, at first when I changed my age to 26 on one account, I changed it in the ad account. I don't think it cared before. I just didn't see ads. But I changed that, and it starts showing me alcohol videos instead of everything else videos. So technically the same thing, and technically it did change. Yeah. But I've noticed like the tailoring, that is why I'm logged in there right now with no credentials. I generally don't use my computer for any of that anymore, so I'm usually on my credentials. My credentials used to take me to more specific, detailed searches, especially combining that with being able to route out. pages, but I didn't used to need to be able to ban domains and stuff from appearing in my searches. In order to keep them out, I could just search for the proper terms and words, and I wouldn't get targeted, with anti that. And it is obviously certain things are, I think I could search for like, Hail America, we're the best Nazis in the world. Let's just kill these Middle Easterners and probably get like some returns, right? I can get something way below that. It's not like the other side is like, oh, I'll kill all these people now. Like, they don't allow that to be seen unless it's someone they want to attack right away, apparently, or setting up a war for. I don't know. I don't know the rules and guidelines to why they've done it before. Like Saddam, baby in incubators, like supposedly that was completely made up. And then people are like, yeah, let's just kill them all. And so I noticed that all that search is different there. And I've been noticing for a long time, I've been talking about that for a long time, and I've been watching it slowly change. More recently, they've been like banning more of my comments. Like, I don't even say anything that like is really saying anything, except for it might lead you back to fucking some sort of Nazi pedophile people who own the media, and maybe you're a million steps away from it. Very, very unrelated things sometimes. They're just fucking haters. I mean, this is what they do to everyone else in the world. That's why there isn't a... What world history is there except for theirs? Does anyone even have a history? How come everyone on TV in every nation and in all news across the world agree with these people's history, and we know that's a fucking lie? So, like, everything they do doesn't look right when the other people agree. It makes those places not look right. And then the point of the video again is because I don't think we're actually connected to those other nations. I think there's a lot of nets there in place. The military invented this stuff, or at least took it from the inventors. And America said to use it on the people. So that's where the internet came from. And who knows how much control they had to start. Maybe it was their internet to begin with. They did say that the Clintons donated to Tor. And they're the ones who use cocaine. So it would make you think like, oh, they're for freedom and stuff. But they're also the people who just are doing cocaine in the office right now and aren't concerned with taking it off of someone else and putting them in jail with it. Where else would they get their stuff? Do you think they pay for it? Maybe that's why they're so poor and need so much money from China, because they buy so much drugs. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. He's the president. They have all the drugs. They just go out on the street and take the drugs from everyone. They've got buildings full of cocaine, buildings full of weed, buildings full of opiates. They can have whatever they want. They don't have to sell out to China for that. And plus, if you sold out to China for that, their prices are so low, like, you could feed the whole neighborhood and you wouldn't have to miss a meal and stuff. So that's the reason why they need to ban and hate China so much, but they're not selling out to China for that. If they were doing that, like I said, they get pennies on the dollar shipped over here. Yeah, so it's real controlled there. And that's just one of the things. Like I said, I get more notifications now about my comments being removed and stuff. Like, I'll post the most non-related thing almost I can possibly think of. Not even talking about any of this. Pretty sure. I'm on like music channels a lot. Um, and they're just little hater bitches. Because I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why they were created that way, but that's the way they act and shit. And I can only guess why you come to a place that's being ran by people like that and stuff. And I mean, it makes no sense that everyone's just like, oh, that's great. We worship these people as gods. There must be gods. Maybe they really are aliens and they killed all the smart people and no one's smart enough to see that they're teleporting and shape shifting and stuff like that. Or however this happens and stuff. So, I don't know. Possible, I think they might have had the internet. The internet, I'm pretty sure, was invented long before the Earth was invented. I'm gonna take a guess at that. Uh, Video games and stuff like that were probably invented long before the Earth was invented, and they say that was billions of years ago. So I don't see the Earth as just popping up, being the first thought in the universe, in all the universes, and you know, we're the smartest thing that's ever existed, yet this is where we've gotten. Some of this stuff is unexplainable too, like where does some of the tech come from? But I do see people getting killed and getting ousted when they come up with ideas. I do see that happening. That seems to be like a pattern here. Bill Gates, they have some hate towards him because he bought some stuff off a poor person, and that's like kind of the more legit story, although that's kind of always the story. Isn't that the same story they use for Zuckerberg and Elon Musk? Was they used to work with other people and then they took that project from them and got rich from it. Not weird. It's all kind of the same story there. Like they all do the same thing. Is that like a genetic trait to do that? But or is it just like a weird storyline they all follow? I don't know. But supposedly that happens with people here. They talk about it a lot too. Like they said that about, although you know, like hit pieces sell and stuff. I noticed they said about Sam Walton from Walmart too, and then they're taking him out so Amazon can move in and stuff. Jeff Bezos. So, but you know, Bill Gates looks like one of them. Making a hit piece on him is just advertising for him, right? It'd be nice to have all those tools back and see if I can ban all the sites saying accept Ukraine, accept money to send drones and bombs to Ukraine, to see if there actually is like some real donate Putin. Apparently there's one that might be showing up here. But how come these how come these people are all talking about the same stuff though? Like that makes no sense if they were really in control of like Russia today. Why would they? Why would Russia today be like the same gossip that UK mail is? It's the same thing that USA is. It's like, and they say that's because that's Rothschild. So that's what, because they get their messages from AP routers. So Russia today, are they using AP routers for all their information? That'd be weird. I mean, wouldn't that just mean it's Rothschild media? And if we're actually banned from like Russia, connecting with Russia, then we wouldn't know that. Like they say we're banned from China, so we wouldn't know if China's like posting videos like saying, no, you guys banned us from your internet or something like that. You wouldn't know that because supposedly they're on their own internet. We're told by people who are making an obvious lot of lies and hit pieces up. So I'd like to get my software back and ban all these channels. And plus, that's a good way to figure out, just ban people who aren't doing, who aren't going to say much you want to hear. Like, people accepting money to restore Khazaria. Really on either side, right? But right now, it's like they got everyone on that side in USA, which I think is what happened in the past too. Like the liberals generally are like pro-war at first, I think, and then like 4 years later they're like, nah, or they change at some point. Pretty much everyone I looked into at some point seemed to have some sort of step. And not pro on the other side, but pro like America invading them and stuff. So it'd be nice to go through and block all those and see if I can. Yeah, see, I'm going through this one, and now it's bringing up Etsy and USA Today. Like it really. Washington Post. Where said the top things here are buying weapons for Ukraine. They need £2 million to buy an attack helicopter, and they need £500,000 to donate some howitzers to Ukraine. They got one of those Jerry Lee Lewis telethon thing banners up here at the top of the screen. Excellent. Where's it at again? There it comes. Call within 30 minutes. Get free shipping on your next pamphlet we send to you to ask for more donations. Institute of Modern Russia. Look, that one can't be found. That might be why I didn't even remember that one. Free Russia is probably that. Like I said, it's a little bit different. This one's like, I think this is that investigating one that is like attacking Russia, but Russia put out news showing that there was already an like non-Russians, I'm pretty sure, investigated this it's the largest investigative journalist site there is in the world, and it's backed by the USA military. So Russia's like, how come they don't ever investigate where they come from and stuff? And all they do is investigate Russia and China. And they really do like bring people down in those nations too. But look at everything else they do. Like, there was never anything about Epstein talked about. Look how many, everyone was involved in it. Dude, wasn't he hanging out with like kings and queens of the world? Like, what do you think, a bum off the street can do that? I could go up there looking like Jesus, wearing robes and stuff, and the average person like recognizes that, and they'd be like standing beside a picture of Jesus and be like, get out of here, shoot him. They don't have guns over there in the UK, but not that they're going to use. Probably come up with their billy clubs or something. You can't go near people like that. The Pope uses bulletproof glass. He's so scared of people. Oh yeah, the presidents do that now too. Isn't that great? They just installed that in such fake little fucking things. Wow. If you would actually shoot someone's ear, that would be like a crazy. You would be such an expert marksman. I don't know why you would waste your time accidentally not shooting someone's head if you can aim, actually just hit their ear and stuff. Give them a nice warning shot. Let them know next time you're going to look down the scope and actually pull the trigger if you do that. That seems so fake. But now he's got bulletproof glass. Yeah. I was wondering why they didn't have that for those people. I was like, damn, that's weird. Nothing ever happened. And that one was fake looking dude. He was all like laying in the bushes and stuff, doing nothing. That's a great plan. I don't know about you, but I'm probably not going to drive down to the White House. And probably by the time I get down there, I'd rethink a dumbass move like breaking into the White House or shooting at Trump. Probably by the time I get there, I'd have enough sense to wake up and be like, this just probably ain't going to work well. But, instead of shooting at him, I'm just going to clip his ear. Man, that's so fake. Anyways, this ain't about that. But again, I think the media is faking. Like, no one even questions that stuff for real. Like, no one questions if any of those shooters are real. It all looks weird. I guess Alex Jones did. I mean, that's all the more reason is because Alex Jones got sued for it, and they killed his business. Like, who cares what you think? Like, that seems almost like more evidence that they would stage things. It's like, why you're gonna and he invaded the Capitol. So he's the one behind the Capitol invasion, and they go after him for this lying about a school shooting, which I don't know. I mean, imagine if you were in a world where people actually died. That would mean there's probably people who actually shoot people and will actually do it for $5 or because they're part of a cult. I don't know what's happening. I do see a lot of things and I can make some theories, but I've seen a lot of other weird things happen that kind of alter reality a little bit. So I don't tend to think I know for sure anything, and I'm making some assumptions when I see quantum leap and stuff going on in the world. I have to well, I mean, some people are telling me some things too, and that doesn't even mean I believe them. If you come up to me and you're like, hey, I'm Satan, I got a few $100,000, let me in, let's go down the block, and you show me the money, and then you show me a picture of someone else and say, this is my book, this is me, and I'm already suspecting something like that's happening. Hey, who do I believe at that point in time? A dude has, lots of money, and if that was real, I mean, yeah, I'm sure. I don't meet lots of people with fake stuff. I've never had to worry about something like that. When it does happen, it's real fucked up. It's like, damn, dude, I didn't forgot that could happen and stuff. I might have that more recently. There are, people cutting my brake lines in front of me looked like that might have been a scheduled event. People coming to me and talking to me after the cops drive off slowly from my car and my tire is completely flattened after a few minutes, and talking to me about things. They were actually, I was actually on the West Coast, and they were asking me about that. So when Alex Jones leads the July 4th thing, or January 4th, and they don't even talk about it, and instead they attack him for saying the school shooting looks fake. It makes that look fake. Now, is it fake because the school shooting wasn't fake, or is it fake because it's fake media? But I have had Alex Jones people show up and stuff, and I've been to places that they were at as well. But them showing up to where I'm at is a little bit odd, just a little bit odd. Don't you think? especially when they can show up in my town in a short period of time. But I think that all leading to that makes that look like it's actually pointing at something, right? Because why would they have to set that up and then not go after him for that? Where they, I don't even want to give my ideas. So, anyways, yeah, I don't see any of the media talking about that shooting looked fake. Like, why wouldn't you question that too? It's like, damn, dude, you're a real good shot. But anyways, it would be nice if we could get the band tools back. And I do notice there's a pattern here. And I've looked for Asian and Russian websites before. And I've been thinking that, I don't know if it hasn't invented the other nations yet or something. I didn't say that. But, because there is that thing that happened when I first started getting on the net and I like banned 200 channels real fast. That was really weird how my feed was showing the same things over and over, and there should have been a lot more channels than that, I thought. I wasn't on YouTube or that early. Streaming videos was stupid when the internet came out. It took me a long time to be like, oh shit, you guys are... No, actually I knew speeds, and it's like, we're not gonna ever be able to watch videos on the internet. I mean, people are like using cams now and stuff, and I done quit that a long time ago. But they're taking away like abilities here, and I don't think I've ever actually seen too many things I think are actually foreign nations. When I'm sent to all these other places, it's weird that like Al Jazeera and stuff, it's weird that they seem to be selling some of the same stuff sometimes, especially at the UK. I mean, they admit they're Rothschild routers AP, right? But the other ones supposedly are like, well, they're not really anti-Rothschild, they're anti-Zionist. And that makes that look suspect, because these people are supposedly being killed by these people. You think they would understand that, you know, there's people not in Zion who are supporting this, that are the cause of it. And so calling it that kind of deflects. It's like they're attacking the tank that's in front of them, and they're like protesting, bad tank, bad tank. And there's like a command center or something behind the tank. So, or a whole military installation and times 200. Doesn't make sense how some of this is altered, so I assume that they're keeping out other nations from the West. I see them doing this in games, so they're actually getting people who cheered on. Supposedly they say that Chinese people cheat a lot in games, but supposedly games are supposed to have anti-cheat methods. And I don't know, at the same time I've also seen other things like people who I thought might be the devs of games acting like they're these other people. And that would actually line up with how it looks like the internet. It might be mostly one group that's very good at speaking American English, for the most part. I have seen some other stuff, but they say that's because China's like cut out too. So like, I thought games would blacklist IP addresses from what's it called? When you hide your IP. Can't think of that. Anyways, those usually have generic IPs, and you can't use your stealth to get out of the nation that I supposedly hear you can if you're in China. Usually a game will ban that because there'll be so many cheaters. Now, if you get an expensive one, maybe not. But if you have one that's used over and over, then they would ban that and stuff. And your provider probably would cut you off eventually too. So I don't see how that'd be a problem. I don't even see how, if they actually have internet in there, they, that's truly locked down. I'm not sure how they could get outside of it. If they tell me they're so enslaved, I would think like the gun that they got a person in the government watching their computer with a gun to their head or something. Like, how do they not build technology that would be able to do that? Supposedly they track everyone's face on every camera everywhere, but they have no idea what goes on their internet and how people could get outside of the internet. That sounds weird. But that also sounds weird in USA to me. But I'm talking about being isolated inside the West. So that means that could still happen, and you would see it, but doesn't mean you're banned from the West. Not, well, kind of these days, right? But I'm not banned from seeing this crap. And I got like no choice here, and I've watched it change over the years. I talk about this every now and then, and I mean, I was saving everything on the internet because I was watching it change so much. And now I see like Wikipedia in the Wayback Machine, places like that, talking about needing donations. Now I think they always say that, but that they're already deleting the history. Like they do that in every nation they're in. That's why there is only one world history, and there's like there's like 8 billions of people on this planet at all the time, constantly. So when one dies, a new one pops up. And there's pretty much one history on the planet. At least as I know. I'm in America, but I'd probably know a little bit more if I felt like we were connected. And hell, look at how Chinese can really get outside of their internet. Then look at how advanced they'd be, and they would be all over the internet posting, on YouTube and all that. Their nations like supposedly put effort into that instead of war and stuff. So that's what I'd be convinced of if I see what's in America is real, because it looks like they got some high-tech buildings and stuff like that, and America tells me that they're like super high-tech and they scan everyone's faces, and it's like everything's missing except for the robots. And then that makes me wonder, like, if they're that smart, they probably have robots, but are you like not showing them or something? I did see something that like came through, and to me it was kind of weird because I didn't see a lot of it before, and if it was something they had been working on, and you think they would have slowly updated progress on the robot. But other than that, I think it's all altered. It definitely looks like that. I mean, there might be someone out there who thinks things are being invented in the world around them, and for those type of people, I wonder, maybe none of them have been to certain places yet. So, I don't know. And it's clear it's also being altered because of the credentials. But generally, my credentials will, in the past, they would give me a better detailed search result too. But still, even back then when it felt like it wasn't as censored, I don't think that ever happened. I look for all this stuff. Like I was into anime and video games and stuff way back when. Like I had never seen this stuff and I was into it. So um, you'd think I would have found something like that if it was really on the internet. And they always talk about, they're always doing what they talk about too. So when they talk about, like they're talking about drones recently, why are they doing that? Just to pass laws? They're just passing some laws because they want to control the airspace. You can't have flying cars and stuff if you don't have some sort of restrictions up there. Other than that, I mean, you got restriction. You got to drive at least one way in the road out there. So, but I also think that with this other stuff, like maybe they're just talking about it because they're doing it, and it does look like it's it's like separate. It's definitely tailored to things that are on it. But I know I looked up Russian media the other day, and I couldn't find the site. I seen a commenter give me, and the site the commenter gave me was looked more like news without like the routers type AP garbage ads and occasional stories about Elvis or Kim Kardashian. So I'm pretty sure that's being censored. I'm going to turn this off. That's pretty much it. I don't know if anyone has any proof, but I did find that one Russian media site, and it seemed like a legit media site. But that's because someone gave it to me, but I still could access it. I've been in places where, like in Mexico, you couldn't access RT, so I had to, you know, use this thing. I can't think of the name of the IP hider. Been so long since I've cared about using one of those. I'm sure that really works. If someone wants to find you, I'm sure. I mean, the Clintons donated to the Tour Foundation. I don't know the exact steps there, but that's what they said. I'm not sure if they'd be doing stuff for freedom or not. They didn't do anything when Biden got caught. I mean, he pardoned Biden, but he could have just been well, let's just make this legal then, since the president does that stuff. We're gonna get all those people out of jail for that. Because this looks stupid. But let's just pardon him instead. Anyways, I just get this weird feeling that they're controlling that. I'm all in this. I would love to see some other real stuff, but it's real hard to find, and I don't know if I'm gonna waste time looking at any of it anymore. I just tried to for a while, every now and then again, every few years, and I've never really connected much with people who I thought were other nations, especially once I could see the patterns of the same stories. And it's like real simple. If they're talking about certain things and they're at war with certain people, like why is that? Do I not have access to like actual other nations? I mean, I have seen a couple sites and I wouldn't know. And I don't want to bring up those symbols on my keyboard because that takes time. Then I'd have to rely on a translator. But I haven't seen that many of them. I don't get shown ones I think are legit and stuff. Like Russia Today doesn't look very legit, and it also didn't start. It started as being connected to the people who own the media. So, but supposedly he was killed, and no one ever talked about why or anything. But he also works with like or at least RT promoted that Russia had worked with some of the people at the top. But that's another little thing there too. They actually talk about that. I guess they say they have a holiday for him or something. I know that's in the Middle East they have a holiday, or maybe everywhere they have a holiday for him. Maybe every holiday that's is for them. But supposedly he's like a bad guy in USA. Um, Maybe depending on whose side, but no, I think everyone ended up disliking him. At least I've never seen a media that said too many good things. They have those sit down discussions sometimes with George Soros where it's like a one on one interview, and it's just like, oh, and what color is your dog, and all this stuff. Doesn't answer too many questions about what other people are asking and stuff. Especially when other people are like showing stuff that like looks pretty legit. Things might be happening that they're doing. But anyways, yeah, I'm going to close this. I think that there's very little content. This is what I can come up with the best. It seems to be very little content from other nations, and it seems suspect that we would have the internet and that stuff would be harder to find. Like, I'm literally not finding anything pro Russian for the most part. If I search for anything around that, I don't know if I. And the ones I do find, like, have that weirdness to them, like advertising some of the same stuff as the West. So I think we might be disconnected in some way. They say China does that on purpose to keep their people off of here. Now, they wouldn't have to make that excuse for any other nation that they've told us are third worlders. Mexico, like, is ran well and stuff, but I'm not sure if everyone there. They had Wi-Fi at the places I was at, generally, and service, and they had stores selling smartphones in a lot of places. But I don't know if people were actually using tons of internet there or not. They were more out in the streets hanging out. They wouldn't have needed that. You could just go outside. Most of them, then again, I was there a month, but the whole month, like of December, was like a holiday. It's like their Christmas didn't end or something or whatever they were celebrating because there's a few things that aren't necessarily celebrated at Christmas time. And it was like a month, but it looked like with a few Christmas decorations and stuff. So, or maybe a lot of them, like a big tree. You know, we have the trees up for a month, but not everyone's outside all month long. Like just outside in the streets, like streets shut down, no cars are coming in, type outside. Anyways, you don't even hear about that stuff. Okay, yeah, you don't even hear about that stuff. Yeah, all you hear about Mexico is and they're crazy savages who sell drugs and well, I'm not going to talk too much, but I don't think that quite was what happened when I was down there, and the cops seem to have things under control. I mean, I didn't see people acting up. The cops had very large automatic rifles, and I get the idea, and they seem to have the place very well tamed. I don't know if you have to tame them or not, but they acted well. And I didn't get to see any shootouts or anything like that for the most part. I dealt with problems, and some of those problems might have been things that were following me that I was trying to see if they follow me if I move too. Um, Yeah, you don't hear about that here either. But I haven't tried to look for Mexican media. Uh, I've only tried to look for like Tin Tan since I came back. I haven't really even thought of that. I don't. Okay, so the only thing I've seen is the recent president change. So they have a female there now, a special one, possibly. But yeah, and after seeing that, it's like I really doubt this article mentioned anything about that person. So I would have banned that website if it like promoted it and didn't talk about certain things. I felt like, what if she's related to Rothschild and stuff type associations, right? There's definitely something going on here. I don't know what it is. And it seems advanced enough to be somewhere near the power of the internet. And so that could have existed before that. And I think it did. Like, I mean, they came out this internet a long time ago. And then they purposely said that they took it for control. And and that's all I see on it. Is that's one reason I don't watch TV is because it's just it's just going to be garbage. Like they're just going to tell me. And some of the only TV I remember watching, I like some of Hollywood maybe, but I remember when I was a kid, like, they show wars on TV and on the news. And then recently I looked up at the TV at the gym and they're like selling, I guess now they're selling crap on the news. Like they used to have like the shopping network and now they take part of the news network hour to sell some of the stuff that's probably a little overpriced, probably a little overstocked, probably not as good as they say it is. And then they have this thing where they're on your side after they sell this stuff that looks all gimmicky and like it's just going to waste space or something. Yeah, that's trustworthy too. So I wouldn't even watch that stuff. Like these are accidents in the last couple years. If I go to a place, I go to a gym or a dentist, like you're literally sitting there watching TV for like 15 minutes unless you look at the ground and put on some headphones. So I have to pick this up sometimes. Like I accidentally look up and I see it. But I wouldn't do that other than that because I just figure it's the same thing. I watch political ads all year long. Whenever I accidentally look up the screen they're on, and like everyone was attacking the current dude like for like 2 months. Like who's even on his side? Are those the same people attacking him? And then I guess some other Republicans had a pro one, and most of them were like conflicting statements. Like they were attacking him for not doing enough, and then they were attacking him for doing too much. Was the idea I got from it. So it's like, how fake is that stuff? I think of all that sense, but I wouldn't ever look at that stuff. So I've been searching the web and trying to like avoid that and see what's going on in the world for a long time. So this isn't like a new thing where I've just Googled a couple things and I get some weird feeling that it's a little bit different than they say it is. Although technically they talk about people having the power to do what they do. So maybe maybe I'm wrong and they're breaking their karma and they are talking about what they do there. I don't know. They supposedly have to do that for some reason. So generally they do. Like the drone thing. Like why would they even they're just saying don't worry about it. It's safe and stuff. So they know what's going on. and it's probably them. Their wording to me implies they are government contractors testing airspace. Um, Hopefully not for nefarious purposes. If they do, oh well, right? Who knows? Like, who am I to say what's good and evil? Who knows what's going to happen in this world? There's a lot of stuff happening, supposedly. But yeah, that's weird because that happened around the time I asked for, well, I was talking about it. I don't know if I asked. I was just talking about how if you want to move into the future, you're going to have to create some sort of regulation so people drive on the right side of the road or something, unless everyone just learns how to fly like I do. My little, bro, on a helicopter in a game, I'd be like going like 100 doing swoops through cities and stuff. Um, I'm fine with driving flying cars like that if you want to. But yeah, they're doing it for some reason. Obviously, they're saying they are. There were specific words. So that media is like for some reason um, not telling you that, but telling you that it's going in some weird way. But other than that, like I guess the Republicans think that they're going to attack him, and they generally don't like attack each other a lot. But I don't know, man. Like I said, I think some of that's fake, um, and that's all the more reason to go after someone saying it's fake to um, make it so no one says that anymore. They say to hurt people by going around saying it's fake. I know some people died. I'll go tell their family I think it's fake because I thought the shit looked fake a long time ago when I first see it. I was on the scene sometimes, even looking at my family in the caskets and stuff. It looked like it felt like the same and different. It was so weird. Maybe it was like the way they make them make up and stuff that it makes the person look like a porcelain doll. But the other thing looked different. Anyway, so I question that. I question you if you shoot yourself in front of me, I'd probably question it, especially if this weird thing happened where my memory goes blank and stuff for like a second or something. Whenever that happens, it's like when I like weird anomalies happen and stuff. It's generally caused by like maybe I don't know. I don't know. I know it felt like time slowed down a couple times before too. So um like I've sat there and thought about stuff while it was like supposedly happening and it that's what it felt like. But this stuff right here I was looking for and I can't find. And like I said, unless we're gonna say that's because it's not invented yet or something, but I was noticing that early with YouTube. Anyways, I'm gonna close this up. Maybe I'll look for Mexican stuff, but I don't think so because, like, I've already seen things enough to know. I've heard enough things about and tried enough things to see enough things that I'm going to have to make some assumptions about. And that's the easy one. That's like the easiest thing to make. What's more crazy than the internet being controlled is someone talking about like people coming around cutting their brake lines and stuff like that. To me, that's crazy. People talk, people don't do that. Although I've never judged people and I've kind of been around a lot of different people. Um, yeah, to me, that's more crazy. But I always think maybe some of these things might be connected together.